Welcome to Protecting Illinois Wilderness New Horizons, a Sierra Club presentation which will provide information on the importance of wilderness, background information on our current wilderness system, and our proposal for securing additional wilderness for Illinois. First off, let's look at just what exactly wilderness is. A wilderness area is an area under federal government management that has been set aside to preserve its wilderness characteristics for future generations. This special designation was established in 1964 by people who predicted that America risked ending up with no wild places left if we didn't protect them. As defined by the Wilderness Act, wilderness is an area where Earth and its community of life are untrammeled by man, where man is a visitor who does not remain. The great environmentalist and leader in wilderness protection Aldo Leopold said that the first rule of intelligent tinkering is to save all the parts, meaning we need to preserve the diversity of wildlife, such as our beloved woodland wildflowers, our beautiful migrant songbirds, and all forms of life integral to the food chain, from large predators like this bobcat to tiny creatures such as this little moth larva that our birds require for survival. But wilderness is not just a place for plants and animals. It is also a place for people as well. Wilderness areas give us a way to encounter nature on its own terms, offering a place for quiet reflection and appreciation of the natural world and how we fit in. Preserving wilderness provides us with places to enjoy low-impact, non-motorized recreation. Nearly 150 million people, more than two-thirds of all Americans, participate in outdoor recreation activities annually. Wilderness offers abundant opportunities for recreation, including camping, hunting, fishing, horseback riding, hiking, backpacking, bird watching, and photography. On a per capita basis, Illinois has far less green space than most other states, and this has meant that our existing parks and forests need protection from the damage caused by industrial and commercial development. This is especially true for the Shawnee National Forest, located in the most southern portion of the state. The Shawnee National Forest, here colored in green, is managed by the U.S. Forest Service, but it is interspersed with private land, state land, and towns and villages. Within this small area, 6 different physiographic regions converge: the lower Mississippi Bottoms, the Illinois Ozarks, the upper and lower Shawnee Hills, the Cretaceous Hills, and the coastal plain. This rare convergence of so many unique regions makes the Shawnee area one of the most biologically diverse places in the United States. During the 1970s, the Shawnee National Forest timber program was flourishing, and industrial logging was making a big impact on the forest canopy. Destructive recreational activities like off-road vehicle use were growing in popularity and had begun damaging the forest in unforeseen ways. Because all of these activities are permitted in national forests, concerned citizens began working to establish a higher level of protection for the last remaining areas of large undeveloped tracts of forest land. It became clear that wilderness designation would provide a way to curb further degradation while providing permanent protection for these very special places. Wilderness is defined as an area retaining its primeval character and influence without permanent improvements or human habitation, affected primarily by the forces of nature, with the imprint of man's work substantially unnoticeable. Forward-thinking citizens understood that wilderness protection would protect these special areas forever from logging, off-road vehicle use, and mining and gas and oil drilling. Their work paid off. In 1990, the first Illinois Wilderness Bill was signed into law, designating 7 areas within the Shawnee National Forest as wilderness. They are scattered across the state, from the Ozark Hills that rise above the lower Mississippi Bottoms on the west, across the Shawnee Hills to the Ohio River on the east. Let's look at these existing areas and see what has been protected within them. Located here on the west side in the Illinois Ozarks are Clear Springs and Bald Knob wilderness areas. Spring-fed Hutchins Creek, ranked as one of the highest quality streams in Illinois, forms a wide valley between Clear Springs and Bald Knob wilderness areas. Together, these two wilderness areas cover approximately 11,000 acres. Relatively undisturbed by humans, a couple of old farmsteads and cemeteries are the only evidence of past human usage of the land. Narrow ridges, steep forested slopes, rocky bluffs, and V-shaped ravines provide secluded habitat for wildlife and wonderful opportunities for activities such as hiking and camping. Further to the east, in the upper Shawnee Hills, is Panther's Den Wilderness. With only 900 acres, Panther's Den is the smallest wilderness area in the Shawnee, but what it lacks in size, it more than makes up for in sheer awe-inspiring beauty. It provides a home for a wide variety of plants and animals, some of which are rare, such as the state-endangered French's shooting star flower that can be found growing under the shelter of sandstone overhangs at the base of the bluffs. On the east side, in the upper Shawnee Hills, are Burden Falls and Bay Creek wilderness areas. Separated only by a gravel road, these two wilderness areas cover approximately 6,500 acres. Burden Creek forms the exceptionally beautiful Burden Falls, a waterfall dropping 102 feet over a series of falls. Prickly pear cactus, cardinal flower, royal fern, and rock chestnut oak are just a few examples of the unique plants found in Burden Falls and Bay Creek wilderness areas. Nearby, also in the upper Shawnee Hills, is Lusk Creek Wilderness. At approximately 5,000 acres, this is our largest wilderness area. This wilderness is named for the beautiful stream that winds its way through the valley, forming a series of 180-degree horseshoe bends and narrow canyons with 100-foot-high sheer rock walls. The area has a rich plant, animal, and geologic diversity. The seventh wilderness area, Garden of the Gods, is also located in the upper Shawnee Hills. Garden of the Gods, at approximately 3,000 acres, is appropriately named because of its highly scenic bluffs, canyons, and ridges. The popular Garden of the Gods recreation area, which is located along the eastern boundary of the wilderness, is one of the most frequently visited landmarks in southern Illinois. In this picture, we see one of the area's most recognizable formations, Camel Rock. Unfortunately, when these existing wilderness areas were designated in 1990, there were 3 additional areas that had wilderness qualities but were left out of the original bill: Camp Hutchins, Ripple Hollow, and Burke Branch. The Sierra Club would like to see all 3 areas protected for future generations. Camp Hutchins is a 3,000-acre parcel located directly adjacent to the Clear Spring and Bald Knob wilderness areas. Together, these 3 areas make up one large contiguous area over 13,000 acres in size, which we refer to as the Hutchins Creek Wilderness Complex. When you add in the LaRue Pine Hills National Natural Landmark, which borders this area to the west, we would then have 16,000 acres of high-quality, unfragmented forest habitat. This satellite image of the Hutchins Creek Wilderness Complex will help you visualize what an unfragmented forest looks like. Here you can see how Camp Hutchins is located adjacent to Bald Knob and Clear Springs. When seen from this view, it just makes sense that Camp Hutchins is an integral piece of the entire area and deserves a special protection of wilderness designation. You can also see how this entire complex still maintains an unfragmented forest canopy as compared to the developing lands surrounding it. This unbroken canopy is important for many reasons. For one thing, it serves to provide shelter and habitat for the many neotropical songbirds that travel through Illinois on their annual migrations. These species travel thousands of miles each spring from Central and South America to their homes in the temperate north to raise their families, and are particularly vulnerable to the effects of increased forest edge caused by forest fragmentation. Having more forest edges makes it easier for predators such as raccoons, snakes, and domestic cats to destroy nests and eat eggs and baby birds. Fragmented forests also increase the rate of nest parasitism by cowbirds. Cowbirds lay their eggs in the nests of other birds, thereby becoming parasites on the host birds, which then have to raise the baby cowbirds along with their own broods. Quite often, the host bird chicks are unable to compete with the larger, faster-growing cowbird chicks for food and simply die. This does not bode well for the viability of our forest-dwelling songbirds. A large unfragmented block of forest wilderness is also important for other birds and animals that cannot compete well with open land species. The barred owl and the red-shouldered hawk are two such species that have found their niche in the forest interior, while the great horned owl and red-tailed hawk dominate the more open areas. Securing wilderness protection for Camp Hutchins would make this the largest block of permanently protected, unfragmented forest, not only in the Shawnee, but the entire state. This scenic area offers human visitors a chance to experience the solitude and mystery of a forest filled with old trees and wonderful treasures. The second of our proposed wilderness areas, Ripple Hollow, is located south of Camp Hutchins in Union and Alexander counties. This aerial view of Ripple Hollow gives you a really good idea of the topography unique to the Illinois Ozark Division. Ripple Hollow is about 3,500 acres in size, and like Camp Hutchins, is also an important area for neotropical migrant songbirds. The dry ridge tops of Ripple Hollow dip steeply to a wide, moist valley that is carpeted with wildflowers in the spring and is home to an abundance of wildlife. Unfortunately, Ripple Hollow also contains a valuable mineral called silica, or tripoli. Although there are no immediate plans for doing so, without wilderness protection, one day this valley with its beautiful rocky streams and breathtaking wildflowers could end up being strip-mined. Burke Branch proposed wilderness in the Lesser Shawnee Hills and Coastal Plain Natural Division is the largest of the three proposed wilderness areas at approximately 6,000 acres. It lies here in the extreme southeastern corner of southern Illinois. Burke Branch contains two natural areas, one research natural area and the Cretaceous Hills State Nature Preserve. The diversity of life in Burke Branch is so unique that in 1978 and again in 1983, the Illinois Department of Natural Resources recommended that Burke Branch be included in the Illinois Wilderness System. Among the unique plant life found in Burke Branch is Illinois' only population of the state-endangered world pogonia orchid. The federally endangered Indiana bat also finds refuge in a limestone cave located in Burke Branch, and rare acid seep springs contain a jungle of cinnamon fern, royal fern, and sphagnum moss. We are fortunate that none of these three areas are in imminent danger. But without the permanent protection of wilderness designation, that could easily and quickly change. As the pressure increases on our public lands to provide solutions to our energy needs, such as producing biofuels, drilling and mining, and with off-road vehicle enthusiasts increasing demands on public land, special places like Camp Hutchins, Ripple Hollow, and Burke Branch will be at increased risk of having their wilderness characteristics destroyed forever. Fortunately, we have the opportunity to preserve the last remaining remnants of wilderness in Illinois for our children and our grandchildren. These three areas, plus the 7 existing wilderness areas, represent less than 14% of the entire Shawnee National Forest, but this small amount of land will go a long way in preserving the integrity of our vanishing natural heritage and the wildlife that lives here. The only way to ensure permanent protection for Camp Hutchins, Ripple Hollow, and Burke Branch is to include them in the National Wilderness Preservation System.